Can you see us back there?
Yes.
Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and kick us off here. So my name is Sarah Mason, she, her pronouns. I'm the state coordinator for Citizens Climate Lobby in New Mexico. We're a bipartisan climate advocacy organization, so we work with Republicans, Democrats, everybody else who cares about this issue. We mainly try to engage Congress on passing federal level reforms to fight climate change. If that sounds like the cool kind of thing you'd be interested in, I have a sign-up sheet for our chapter over here, but the most important thing, one of the coolest things I get to do in this role is support the Los Alamos High School Eco Club, which is the best climate advocacy organization in Los Alamos County, in my opinion. So one of the things we came together to do today was to set up this event to encourage civic engagement, right? Like, we think that democracy is the solution to climate change, so we really think it's important for people to be educated about who they're voting for, right? So this is a fantastic opportunity to have some of our leaders from the Eco Club engage with some of our candidates on local policy issues related to climate that they're interested in. So that's what we're doing here today. We have pretty short on time. We've got 5 prepared questions. We may have time to ask all of them, but we might not. What we're gonna try and do is spend just 2 minutes. I'll be timing and also trying to inconspicuously take a few action shots in the background, right? So I'll try to keep everybody on time. And then I'm gonna ask the first question, and then we'll have our Eco Club officers ask the remaining ones, and we'll just kind of take turns until hopefully we run out of questions. So the very first one is to please introduce yourself, share what office you're running for, and explain the ways that office can impact environmental policy in Los Alamos.
You want me to go?
I don't have a coin. Nobody carries coins anymore.
Councilor Reagor.
Here we
Okay,
go.
that's very simple. My name is David Reagor, and I'm running for re-election to the Los Alamos County Council. So I've been on it for 4 years. You're allowed 2 terms in Los Alamos, so this is you only get re-elected once, is the only possibility, because after 8 years you're out. I'm a big supporter of some of the things in our community that are important for energy policy. And it's unusual in that many counties, the government doesn't have much authority over their energy policy. But in this county, we have a lot of authority. We have the entire utility department is under the county government. And the Board of Public Utilities are people we appoint that then set all of the policies. And that says where you get your electricity from, where you get your natural gas from, how that whole system is distributed. That's all under the county government. Now, actually, many governments can't do that because you have a gas company, you have an electric company, and they're not government entities. They're regulated, but they're completely separate from your local government. Here, we're very fortunate we can set policies that do things that we really want to see done. My biggest policy that I've been advocating a lot has been in the newspapers this year. Just wrote one article in the Reporter and another one before that in the Daily Post, is that we have to have a nice, healthy solar panel program. When you look at this community, we have one really natural energy resource around us all the time, and it's the sun. Supposedly we have some geothermal, but it's very low grade because, frankly, our volcano is quite elderly. It's a very old volcano, and it's just not very hot anymore. The other thing we have around here is sunlight on all of our roofs. We have tens of megawatts, and we're not really exploiting it to the extent we need to do it. And that is partially established by county policy, which you have solar panels that are very limited in how big they can be, how much you can have on each house. And there's a total countywide cap of 6 megawatts, which is absurdly small, and we should be taking all of it. And so the people next to you, you might not even buy solar panels, but the people 2 doors down can power their block during the peak of the day. And they can power your house and a few other houses. And right now, the county has this tight restriction on how big your system can be. So the whole thing is really not going together very well. And so what I've been arguing for is removing the county cap, changing the per house cap to one that matches whatever current your house can hold. And then giving everybody a fair reimbursement plan, because we've had a change in the rates, and it's much less favorable to the solar producers. And those three things, I think we can cover our full daytime use of electricity. It's always hard to store it at night, but at night you have to cover it with something else, which we have a couple of possibilities that am I up to my 2 minutes?
Yeah, a little bit, but I was trying to be a little more relaxed.
Okay, so then the best way to cover nighttime is with natural gas. So we have a lot of natural gas in New Mexico, none of it's in our county. And what they've done in the European Union is it's very difficult to get rid of natural gas because it's such a clean burning fuel. And so in the EU in 2022, after decades of trying to get rid of it, they finally just said, well, there's so much hydrogen in it because it's made of methane. When you combust methane, you get one CO2 molecule and 2 water molecules. That's right, CH4, everybody should know that, right? You kids know that? Okay. It's CH4. When you combust it, you get 2 water molecules and 1 CO2 molecule. So because there's so much hydrogen content, the Europeans have decided in 2022 to label it as a green energy source, and that it is no longer considered to be sort of the banned carbon stuff that they're really worried about, because it has a much lower carbon content. So that is a policy we can just adopt in Los Alamos. So between solar and natural gas, we have all of our energy needs covered for, I don't know, the next 50 years or something.
All right, so with that, let's move on to our other candidate.
Thank you. I'm Herrmann. I have been a resident with my family here in Los Alamos for the past 27 years. Our 3 children graduated from Los Alamos High School, the one just barely. I worked for Los Alamos Commerce and Development Corporation for the past 10 years and recently retired from the Chamber of Commerce as the director, where I helped our business community. I started and ran the Los Alamos Business Accelerator to help entrepreneurs open successful businesses in town, and now I would like to continue to serve Los Alamos as a county councilor. This position can significantly impact environmental policy, which is an important issue for me. I certainly believe the scientists when they say that human-induced climate change is real, and I believe that we have a duty to be a leader in this. Some of our county council candidates say that anything our small town does won't make a difference. But we are a science-based community, and I believe that we should set an example for all of New Mexico and beyond. The county has a goal of being carbon neutral by 2040. The Los Alamos Resiliency, Energy, and Sustainability Citizen Task Force recommendations were accepted by council, and most of these ideas are already being incorporated to the goals. The draft climate action plan got great feedback from our citizens and is currently being revised by county staff and should be presented to council again soon. Some ways that the office can impact environmental policy in Los Alamos: advocating for sustainability and promoting climate action, budget decisions, community engagement, and creating regulations. I admire the work that your Eco Club has done, and I agree with your efforts to move towards electric vehicles, appliances, and battery-powered or plug-in landscaping equipment. I'm also committed to using renewable energy. By running for council, I would have the chance to inspire positive change in our environmental policy and help create a healthier environment for everyone in Los Alamos.
Fantastic. Let's go to Sam and introduce himself and ask the next question.
So, yeah, I'm Sam Farmer. I'm the co-president of LAHS Eco Club. My question is, we'll start out with Councilor Reagor. What measures would you advocate for to improve public transit utilization in Los Alamos County, particularly in relation to increasing housing density around transit?
Well, so the downtown area, we need traffic that can flow pretty well. And so there's this road dieting going on Trinity that I'm opposed to, because I think we need to keep that as you don't save anybody's energy, you don't save gas at all by having people idle and wait in line somewhere. We need the traffic to be flowing. So I like Trinity as a high-flowing, non-dieted, as a nice fat road. Fat, big wide road, and you have 2 lanes going each way, and you get as much traffic through as you can. And then you have to have very bike-friendly areas. Now, we've been working on this rim trail for years. We have to finish it. So they have a nice travel area for traffic along the edge on sort of the south side of Trinity. And then Central and Canyon roads should be really made for bikes and pedestrians with good crosswalks and protected areas for bikes. And I think we have the space to do all of that. And I hope we'll do that in the future, make sort of one street that's very, very bike friendly, make it really easy, and then you put your buses and most of your car traffic on Trinity, and just keep that thing flowing the way it's been done. We expect that, or we should expect to have a lot more housing downtown. We've had just to have a new apartment building opening up around 35th Street, but there's more going on downtown, and hopefully we'll have hundreds of more units. So we really have to think about the future, that area has to be flowing more easily. Because if you do that, people won't take the mass transit. If your bus is sitting in line, they might just not even want to consider it. Another big factor in that is having a lot of people flowing easily downtown to keep your businesses open. Because the main source of business is actually lab lunch crowd. That's vital to our restaurants, but also when they come into town, sometimes they buy other things, get their haircut, whatever else. So I'm really in favor of that transit downtown. And see, what was the rest of the question? There was more.
How to advocate to improve the utilization of public transportation?
But it was all Los Alamos County. I also
within Los Alamos County.
Yeah. Oh, that's it.
Okay. Thank you, Sam. So this is a tricky question, and I want to just say there are a lot of challenges that exist already with our public transit system, infrequent service, scheduling challenges, and resources, funding and resources. But even when fully funded, these jobs are hard to fill, bus drivers, and routes end up getting canceled when there are no drivers available. So just because it's funded doesn't mean it's going to work the way we need it to. Keeping all of that in mind, for our community, we can't really increase housing around the transit. I think there are only a few areas where we can actually build dense housing, and that is in our downtowns. And I think the buses will be scheduled there once there is demand. I don't see an issue there. You know, there are all kinds of things that we could be doing, improving the stops, awareness campaigns, but I think one thing that would make a big difference in increasing demand for public transit is if the lab and other big employers, the county, the schools, incentivize their people to use them. Local businesses could encourage their employees to use the public transit, maybe by offering discounts or free passes.
I'm Irina. I'm the vice president of Eco Club, and so my question is, how would you prioritize investments in pedestrian and cycling infrastructure to reduce reliance on personal vehicles and protect pedestrian and cyclist safety? Start off.
Sure. Well, I kind of dipped into that in the previous question, but the rim trail is very important. We've been talking about this for years. Pieces of it get built. Nobody actually just finishes it. But we got to have a nice bike route that's protected from traffic that comes all the way up that side. And I don't know if it's ever going to go to the hospital. At least maybe it'll get to around 20th, maybe 30th Street, around there. I don't think it's ever planned to go all the way to the hospital, but still, we need to develop that and put the money in to make it happen, because that is a vital thing for serving that whole part of town. And then the other way, as I said earlier, Unique Canyon into the very friendly and Central as two streets that come together and form a very friendly bike route right into the high school and right into the Diamond Drive. And then people can even take their bikes all the way to the laboratory. And was the other part of that, is that the whole question?
Reduce reliance on personal vehicles and protect pedestrians and cyclists.
Yeah, so basically we want to create good spaces for them. That's it.
Next question.
Thank you. So I would prioritize specific projects to improve walking and biking paths that connect neighborhoods to schools, parks, and shops, making it easier for people to get around without a car. The urban trail downtown is a great example of connecting existing trails. Safety is always key. I would push for better crosswalks, bike lanes, traffic calming measures in busy areas. Adding good lighting and clear signs can also help keep everybody safe. Where we can, I think we should have dedicated bike lanes. I would prioritize creating separate bike lanes and multi-use paths that keep cyclists and pedestrians away from cars where we can. This makes it safer and encourages more people to walk or bike instead of driving. Always get community input. You know, it's important to hear from them. Find any additional funding that we can, state and federal programs. This is something that I've been good at, applying for grants for the business community, and it can make a huge difference. Let's see, partnering with local businesses and organizations can also help us get resources that we need for these projects. As with public transportation, the lab could incentivize walking or bicycling to work. And by focusing on some of these steps, I think we can create a safer and more enjoyable environment for walking and biking in our county, making it easier for everybody to get around without relying on cars.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, I'm Ian Corey. I'm Eagle Club's other president. And our fourth question is, what role do you envision local and state government playing in supporting electric vehicle usage in Los Alamos?
Start with Councilor Reagor. Yeah, sure. Just go first all the time. It's good enough. So electric vehicles are great. They have some great advantages. I used to have a Prius, which I very much enjoy driving. They're very easy to automate, very easy to drive. So I think for a lot of people, it's a great vehicle for starting off for all kinds of ages. We really want to encourage it and support it. I don't believe we should have mandates. I think people should have choice, because there's a problem when you go for long distances. If you have a long road trip plan, then it's very hard to use the electric car for all of that. But it is a great vehicle for commuting on a daily basis. If you're living nearby in Los Alamos to the lab or to any other job in town, it is perfect, because you just need 100 miles of range, and a lot of them now have 200, 250, even getting close to 300 miles range on a single charge. Well, that serves this whole county extremely well, and probably serves you even if you're from down in the valley in some of those places. So I think it's a great thing. What I don't want to do is mandate it, because I think people have to make their personal choice. And the governor's trying to do that, but I would never support that. And the gas tax also pays for road maintenance. So as you get rid of gasoline sales, you've got to figure out how you're going to repair all of your highways. So a component of that going in and paying for repairing the highways is perfectly fair, and just leave the gas tax the way it is so you can do some highway maintenance. In general, I found them fun to drive, and I think we should not do anything to obstruct it, but I don't want to do anything to harm other people that have businesses and such that require other demands. Thank you.
Thanks. Local and state governments can play a crucial role in supporting electric vehicle usage in Los Alamos through several strategies. Infrastructure development. Investing in the installation of EV charging stations throughout our community can make EVs more accessible. Incentives and rebates, public awareness campaigns, educating the community about the benefits of EVs, including cost savings, environmental impact, and available incentives, can help increase adoption rates. I agree with Councilor Reagor. It should not be mandated, but I think, especially in this community, people see the value in it. So I think zoning and planning policies, integrating the EV-friendly policies into our urban planning, dedicated parking spaces for EVs, and the charging infrastructure can make it a more supportive environment for the EVs.
I'm so excited that it looks like we're gonna have time to ask our fifth question, which is, how should the county balance protection of open spaces with the need for land use reforms to encourage higher density multifamily housing? Go for it, Councilor Reagor.
Sure. Well, the problem is we really want to preserve our open spaces. All the areas near the golf course around it, and then between the two mesas, are wonderful, and nobody wants to take them up. And it's the same thing in White Rock. Everybody loves their Overlook Park and all of the areas around it. And it is vital to our quality of life to preserve all of those spaces all around the county. which leads us into a problem. The only places we really have right in front of us right now are infill, and then we might get some other space if the lab gives us the property that we need. And it is their ethical obligation to do that because they bring all the people here. And so if you look at what they've done in the last 4 years, the lab has grown by 4,000 people. But at the same time, about 2,000 have retired. But most of your retirees, like me, don't leave town because it's almost a very comfortable retirement community. So we only have about a half of them leaving town. So you really have 6,000 people came into the town. The 2,000 replacing retirees and 4,000 in growth. And they're chasing about 1,000 houses. And that is our cost of our price inflation. The county cannot continue to work that way. The lab has to do something to give us some other neighborhoods somewhere that will work. One area is Rendia Canyon. It's still very hard to access, and there are all kinds of other little requirements with that. And a great place is the top of North Mesa, which is schools property. And the schools really want to develop that for one reason, for teacher housing, because there's no housing at all for new teachers. I guess you folks know that very well. And when new people show up in town, there's nowhere to put them. And so there's going to be a teacher component on North Mesa, and we have a lot of plans to fill in downtown, but that's about 1,000 units. That's all you can fit there. But I think that's why I also want to keep Trinity flowing very well for the growth of people down there. But once you do all of that, that's what supports your downtown business environment, with people that are living very close to where the stores are. And the kind of urban we have right now, where the houses are far away from the stores, that kind of leads to a very poor environment for using lots of gasoline and lots of time. And frankly, it's not that easy to get there. If you're in White Rock, why would you drive to Los Alamos? Just drive to Santa Fe. You know, so these kind of things are very important to have the housing go with the urban development of our business environment, all of our restaurants, and then the public transit will serve them. Thank you.
I firmly believe that we should not build on our open spaces. Trails and open spaces are one of the things that make our community extraordinary. We have tried and will continue to try to find excess land, but land transfers from Lanel are hard and take a long time. So I say let's look at what we can do with what we have. We need to look for creative, more equitable housing, as that helps everyone and creates inclusivity. As we are redeveloping our downtowns, we need to incorporate high-density housing there with mixed-use buildings offering mixed income units. Same thing out on the North Mesa area. To further protect and enhance our open spaces as per the 2016 comp plan, the county should enforce zoning laws favoring open space and encourage public involvement. Through actions like this, we can effectively protect our natural resources and keep Los Alamos outdoor-oriented.
Got through all the questions, and everybody did a really good job staying under time without me having to interrupt anybody. I want to end with some thank yous, obviously, to our candidates, engaging some new voters. So I know Sam is about to vote for the very first time.
Right on.
What about Irina and Ian? Are y'all going to vote this year?
I'm 16.
I'm
so-
still 17. I don't
Okay.
turn 18 until after the election, so unfortunately I can't do this.
Well, that's still really cool for you all to start thinking about the kinds of issues that will impact your voting in the future.
Absolutely.
So thank you all, the Eco Club, for organizing this. Thank you, Mr. Frost, for supporting this awesome event. In the Eco Club sponsoring faculty member, Ms. Hum, is absent, so you really stepped us to help get these 2 sessions, including schlepping all the way over here for lunchtime. So I really want to thank you for doing that. Fantastic. Thank you for advertising this event. Maybe we have time to, with the Eco Club, to take a couple pictures with our candidates. It's all going to the newspaper.
And one thing I should add for first-time voters is you get to vote for more than one council person. So if you're like, I like both perspectives, you can vote. I think, is it 4?
It's 3.
3, okay.
There are
Depends how
3
many-
spots open and 5 candidates running.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And
So-
if I remember, you should vote for 3, don't just vote for 2, because that's gonna skew things a little bit, right?
Okay.
You should definitely pick 3.
That's what I
So
know.
you-
I say the exact opposite.
You say the exact opposite.
Yes.
Why? Tell me why.
If there's someone you like, someone's out there just thinks Rin's the greatest, just vote for her, because you could cancel that vote with your other vote.
Gotcha, okay.
So if you think I'm
There's
the greatest,
different
just
ways
vote
of
for
looking
me.
at it.
There's different ways of looking at it.
Well, that's the way the math works, is
Yeah.
that the extra votes can cancel if there's like a third person. and
Yeah,
you
because
just
you're going.
you pick somebody off the
So don't
list.
just pick somebody like.
Yeah, yeah.
Who you really
Pick the
want.
people you like and stop, because that's a critical thing.
Okay.
But that's the only one on the ballot, if I recall, that you get votes from that.
I think you're right. It's the only one because the rest of them all, you just have one
Everybody
choice.
else is a
Right.
no or no vote.
Yeah,
Council is always been.
Yeah.
it's the only at-large in our state around here, that's all we have.
Yeah. You wanna do a quick photo, or does
Do y'all
anybody have
have
any
time?
other questions?
Yeah, I know
or-
that
Are you guys
everybody's gotta
gonna be
get
back
back.
for the 2 o'clock?
Peace not
No,
I think there's two other candidates.
Got it.
Sure,
Thank
let's
you.
take a
Are you
picture.
guys signed
You guys
up
wanna take
for
a
the
picture
win?
really quick?
I am.
Okay,
I just
good.
have
Take 1 minute.
Stats call.
You both know where to go.